Hey guys, this is Mono Decoy here, coming to you once again. This time I'm here to review the brand new Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Wow. Where do you even begin with something like this? You see, starting out back February of last year, when they released that first trailer, the original Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer, wow, what a disaster that was. The original design looked just like some sort of nightmare, like think of like a sleep paralysis demon, and that's what you get when you look at that original Sonic the Hedgehog design. It had the human teeth, the small eyes, and just the odd musculature, and people hated it. Fans of the Sonic franchise and just normies that watched the trailer looked at this and said, wow, that is disgusting. And thankfully, Paramount Studios had the ability and the desire, money talks, I guess. And they see this kind of backlash, and you know what? They decided to change it, and they deserve credit. There's a studio that was up in Canada that did all of the reanimation that unfortunately went out of business. My condolences to those employees. Thank you again for your hard work that you put in this. I hope you've all found new employment. But wow, what an amazing job they've done in reanimating and bringing Sonic the Hedgehog to life in 3D for us on the big screen. So really getting into this film, what you'll find is that, it's clearly, it's a kid's movie. This follows a sort of movie structure that you would expect. There's humor in there that's clearly targeted towards kids. But at the same time, this is still a movie that parents that bring their kids to this are going to enjoy, and Sonic fans are going to enjoy. There's so many Easter eggs. So let's go ahead and talk about the story. And of course, there's going to be spoilers in here. I'll go ahead and do the spoiler talk at the end. So if you're still following along, I'll go ahead and put the spoilers up on the screen that will start at this time. So if you want to skip to the spoilers, go ahead and click on this time. But going into the story, basically you have young Sonic. He's growing up on what we can believe to be probably Mobius. But it's a Green Hill rendition. It's great to see it in such full realization because Green Hill looks absolutely fantastic. So you've it was essentially Baby Sonic, but it's probably really classic Sonic, running around giving his exposition, and we learn that he is being raised by a foster parent, which is a owl. If anyone knows if this owl's ever shown up in the comics or before in Sonic lore, please let me know. But basically, is being raised by this owl and has been tracked by the Echidna tribe. Which famously Knuckles is a descendant of. And apparently they want to hunt down Sonic for his power. So, in escaping, his foster mother gives him the rings, which he can use as teleportation, which is canon in the games. That's how you get to those special levels in Sonic 1 and such. And he uses that and gets teleported to Earth, and she goes ahead and gets murked by the Echidna tribe. So goodbye, Sonic's foster mom. And on Earth, he's been, living as a hermit in a little cave under the ground, really just trying to keep out of the public eye because he has such immense power that if anyone's ever going to learn that he exists, someone's going to want to get that power, which we'll see is a prophecy soon fulfilled. So Sonic is alone. He is in Green Hills, Montana, I believe, or was it Green Hills, Oregon? And basically small town called Green Hills. He's there, he's alone, and he just has a whole bunch of random knickknacks he's picked up, and he spies on the locals. And there's one particular resident of Green Hills that he's a big fan of, who he calls Donut Lord, who is our cop friend. I believe his name was Tim or Tom. And great performance there. I was really expecting that the human friend of the movie was going to be a huge drag, but he wasn't. He's a very competent character, very relatable. And upon all of the sort of people, again, that he was spying on in the village, in the town, that officer became his favorite. And, eventually Sonic is so lonely, he watches a baseball game. And upon everyone leaving, he goes and he plays baseball by himself. And he becomes so frustrated at the fact that he's basically left alone. He has no friends, that he has a huge burst of power, basically trying to escape from his loneliness, running around the baseball diamond, and sends out a huge surge of energy, which of course knocks out all the power in the area. It gets the attention of the government. Boom, they send in Dr. Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey is an absolute loon. He's very similar to, again, his portrayals in like Ace Ventura and The Grinch. But of course, this is Dr. Robotnik, who is quite insane already. And I just I love how having an IQ of 300, he's always talking down to people. It was pretty hilarious. And, Jim Carrey just always was a huge laugh creator in the theater that I was in. Kids and adults regularly throwing out chuckles at the things that he was doing. But he shows up and leads an operation trying to track down what caused the power surge that knocked out all of the, the entire electric grid in the area, eventually leading him to our officer friend's house, where he has a confrontation, breaks in, finds Sonic, and that sets us off on a buddy cop. The middle part of the movie, the road trip part of the movie, where Sonic and his cop friend need to go to San Francisco for a reason I'm not going to include that here. And in doing so, Eggman, Robotnik, had followed them along. And eventually this leads them to San Francisco, where the big climax happens. So I don't want to go too much into that here, but basically, long story short, the movie is very funny. It has a lot of adult targeted humor. And even so, like, if put it this way, if you're like an adult and you like shows like Regular Show, you'd probably find something in this that you'd really like. And there's some kiddie stuff in there, like Sonic flossing twice, which kids like. As an adult, it kind of makes you scratch your head and you just but kids like it, and so we get for going to go see a PG movie. But yeah, absolutely great film. I would give it personally, an 8 out of 10. As a longtime Sonic fan, someone who grew up on Sonic Adventure 2, went back and played all of the classic games, and have basically played every single Sonic game since. Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, Sonic Forces, and a lot of the ones in between. This struck home a lot of what I wanted to see. And just again, there's so many Easter eggs thrown throughout that it's like, wow, yes, this really does feel like our Sonic. So it was great. And I definitely recommend go see it. If you have children in your life that you think would be interested in seeing it, definitely take them. And even if you don't, you can go see it as an adult by yourself. It could be a date movie. It's still Valentine's Day weekend, etc. Definitely just go see it and support those who put in the work to make this, the great movie that it is. Because that initial trailer, whew, man, that was a mess. So now, getting into spoiler talk. Man, the fact that at the end of the movie you have Sonic and Robotnik in San Francisco, and you get the whole MacGuffin where they need to get the rings because now that Sonic's been discovered on Earth, that he would possibly need to escape the planet, going to the mushroom plant, which we saw in the trailer, and there's some pretty interesting action scenes that I thought that there were, because the whole bar fight where he slows down, where he's so fast that it slows down time, as well as he doing it again towards the end of the movie against Robotnik. You know, that scene, those kind of scenes are a lot of fun to me. I love when they did it in X-Men, and I really loved it here because there's just so many visual gags that can occur. And from there, you know, the scenes where Sonic gets his new shoes, they end up at the cop friend's wife's sister's house, and she absolutely, the wife's sister absolutely hates our sheriff friend, absolutely hates Sonic, and she's pretty funny. You know, just a lot of heartwarming scenes happening around that home. But yes, they get the MacGuffin in San Francisco of getting the rings, and just that whole scene of like running around the world, traveling around, using the rings to go to different places like China and Paris. It was a lot of fun. Just getting to see Sonic in his like maximum speed was really cool, and the fact that Robotnik was using Sonic's powers in order to also have his machine, his flying machine, go so fast as well was just all very exciting. And then, you know, eventually leading through their big fight, man, I absolutely loved just, there was a few instances where Jim Carrey really pulled out a serious Eggman voice. There was like one or two lines during the Sonic fight that he did, and then in the end credit scene, or in the beginning credit scene, when he's stranded on the mushroom planet, he pulls out another fantastic sort of Eggman voice impression that starts to come out, which I think if there's a sequel, we'll get a lot of Jim Carrey serious Eggman voice happening, and I think that would be very fun. And so then from there, at the mid-credit scene, Tails shows up, and Tails just looks fantastic. It's hard to imagine. I assume that Tails was designed after they redesigned Sonic, because I cannot imagine what redesigned Tails would have looked like, and I don't even want to think about it. But yes, he shows up. His voice is fantastic. He sounds exactly as you imagine Tails should sound, and he goes off searching for Sonic on our planet. And we'll see where this goes. I imagine there will be a sequel. This movie is doing very well at the box office, from what I understand, and there's been such great reaction to it overall. So I definitely imagine we'll get a sequel, and a Sonic and Tails versus a transformed Robotnik Eggman will be a very exciting thing to see in live action. So I'm very excited for it. So yeah, I'm sure if you're at this point, you've probably already seen the movie. Let me know what you thought in the comments. You can leave a like or a subscribe if you want. Thank you so much for watching this video, and catch you next time.